Agriculture is factually a vast sector, yet the first word that usually gets associated upon mentioning it is rice. Now, as a Filipino who mainly considers rice as a staple food, can you imagine your 10-year-old self not knowing what sinangag tastes like? Or if you're a fan of root crops, like potatoes, instead of rice, can you imagine yourself not being able to know the alluring taste of French fries? In a much simpler question, what are we today if not for our agriculture? Over the years, the promise and the high demand for a higher paying office jobs in metropolitan areas have caused a huge irony between having a vast arable land area in the Philippines and having a massive decline on the interest of youth in the agricultural sector. The beauty of the Philippines is incomparable, yet also it is as undeniable as the catastrophes and casualties that we annually experience due to our unfavorable geographical location, which gradually made our agricultural sector very much vulnerable to even a slight change in the weather condition. Why view these factors as hindrances if we could consider them instead to create something that will serve as a bridge in order for us to make use of the youth's interest in modern technology and of the Philippines' vulnerability to weather changes? Hence, the emergence of the proposed project Gulay, which is an artificial intelligence alongside IoT assisted microscale plant growing and monitoring system, which aims to bring innovation to microfarming. As per the objective of this project, the first one is to develop a prototype of an AI and IoT enabled plant growing platform, which will be the hardware component of the Gulay. The goal is to develop the physical dimensions of the growing platform small enough to fit in a normal-sized backyard of enthusiasts or plant growers for their personal consumption, or indoor space like a regular room or laboratory for conducting scientific experiments on leafy plants. The platform will be fitted with various environmental sensors to gather data about the plants, calling the prototype as the Gulay platform. Second objective is to develop an online information management system to complement the Gulay platform. This will be composed of web and mobile software applications that will provide the end user functionalities for managing and visualizing the collected datasets from the platform. Third objective is to gather the results of the real environment test and feedback of the target beneficiaries for the purpose of continuous improvement of the system being developed. Fourth objective is to introduce the developed system by conduct of trainings for the target beneficiaries for them to be aware of how to use the system. Gulay is intended to be aligned with the 2017 to 2022 Harmonized National Research and Development Agenda of DOST in the priority areas under the following: agriculture, aquatic, and natural resources. Through the Gulay system, researchers and plant growers may be able to manage the nutrient delivery needed by the crops being grown. Smart farming approaches through the application of IoT and AI to the Gulay system. Off-season production and cultivation. Since Gulay is a controlled environment, growing off-season crops may be done through the system. Development of climate-resilient technologies, since Gulay is designed to adapt in an indoor setting as well. And decision support system, since the data generated will help the researchers and plant growers in decision making in order to have quality yield. The project is also aligned with the priority areas under industry, energy, and emerging technology, with the application of artificial intelligence in Internet of Things to the Gulay system, wherein collected plant growth data can be used to develop models that can be used to predict aspects of the plant growth. The project aims to address This interest of Filipino youth in agriculture by promoting the fusion of agriculture and technology among the youth so that both fields will progress side by side in the next generation of Filipinos. Contribute to the food security in the country by providing Filipinos with a product that they can use for growing their own leafy vegetables indoor. Develop an experiment platform for plant breeding experts by application of emerging technologies. The output of the product of the project will contribute to the advancement of plant breeding in the country to better translate plant breeds into better food security and contribute to a better economy. Last is to gain the interest among the possible and initial target technology adopters like universities and colleges, secondary level schools, individual plant growers, since there will be a need for production in order to satisfy the demand. Gulay basically has three main components. Software application, which composes of web and mobile application, Gulay platform, backend, and API services. In the interface of the web and mobile application, a researcher or an individual plant grower may define and control the experiment remotely through the internet, going to the platform. In an experiment, you may define a profile where you are able to set and modify parameters like the amount of nutrient solution, grow light settings, photo period, misting cycle, and more. The profile configuration defined from the application will then be sent to the platform. The platform is capable of sensing environmental parameters comprised of the plant growth dataset of the experiment, such as temperature, humidity, water and nutrient level, pH level, carbon dioxide, luminance, image snapshot, etc. Then, the experiment data will be sent to the backend and API services for storage and analysis. And lastly, the experiment data can be viewed and visualized back to the software application. Target milestones of the project. First is the establishment of partnership with identified initial beneficiaries. The project team were able to conduct consultation meetings with the University of the Philippines, Las Bañas Institute of Plant Breeding, Nueva Ecija State University College of Agriculture, and the University of Rizal System with regards to the concept of the project. The project team was able to gather feedback and expression of intention for partnership as initial target beneficiaries of the output of the project. Deployment and field testing of the system prototype to identify initial beneficiaries, conduct of end-user training for partner beneficiaries, and filing of intellectual property applications. For the roadmap of Gulay project for 2021, deployment and field testing of Gulay and mobile web application, deployment and field testing of prototype of Gulay platform, generation of Gulay dataset. Once the output product is used by the target beneficiaries, plant growth datasets will be generated and housed in ASTI. Stored dataset can be used by ASTI researchers for further analysis. Machine learning or statistical model can be generated from the dataset, which can in turn be incorporated into succeeding smarter versions of the output product. And lastly, filing of IPs. For 2022, the project aims to develop vertically stackable version of Gulay plant growing platform, which aims to extend the current design of the Gulay platform into a two-level vertically stackable form factor to increase its plant growing capacity. Improvement of system prototype based on findings from prototype deployment and testing. Filing of IPs, and lastly, commercialization. Thank you.